they told my mom she's not allowed to go in. She had to wait at the door due to COVID. So she's like, oh no, this injection doesn't work on people who used to have alcohol. And she's like, oh, but you're only just 4 centimeters. You still have a long way to go and you're busy being dramatic about all of this. So hi, I'm Nzumbululo Mamphodo. I'm a mother of a 1-year-old son. So the way I found out I was pregnant, I was not having a heavy flow anymore when I would go on my period. And then I just started spotting then when my period was due. So I knew something was wrong. So then I went to the shops and I got a pregnancy test, the cheap one. Came back home, took it, and then one dark stripe came up, and then I put it just next to the toilet, and then I was a little excited. I was like, okay, I don't know why I was worried, went about my business. Then I went back to the toilet again, and I was just holding it, looking at it, and I saw there was a faint pink second line. So I went to the shops again and I bought another cheap pregnancy test, came back, looked at it for more than 5 minutes, then 2 lines, but it was a pink faint line as well. So that's when I decided, okay, let me go for the more expensive name brand pregnancy test. And then I went to, I think, about 4 different shops. I couldn't find it till eventually I found it, went back home, took the test, and it said 6 weeks plus. So the first person that I told that I was pregnant was my partner, but he was there with me while I was taking all of these many pregnancy tests. And then it was within the month of my sister and my father's birthday, so I was also still processing it, so I didn't want to tell yet. And then my partner was saying, no, but we have to tell the family eventually. So I was always putting it off. And then my partner told my sister. So then my sister called me to find out if it's true and why I didn't tell her. So I think she was a little bit disappointed that I couldn't tell her. And then with my parents, I didn't tell my parents. My sister did that for me. She told my mom and my dad for me. So my sister was excited and happy for me, always checking on me every day. My parents, they would call me, but I'm not sure really how they felt about it, but they seemed okay with it the way I saw it. So yes, that's how I told people. So during my pregnancy journey, at first, because I was in Gauteng, I did actually go and see a gynae. And when I was seeing the gynae, he was like, everything's fine, the baby looks healthy and happy. But I had some morning sicknesses now and then. The first few weeks I was only eating eggs, either boiled, fried, scrambled. That's the thing I enjoy the most. But then later on, I didn't have like crazy cravings or anything. I could eat anything. I was eating mupane worms, eating mukosore, like, yeah, there was not a food that I was not eating. So then from there, when I then decided that because of COVID and how high it was in Gauteng, it would be better for me to give birth in Limpopo. So after 6 months, I told my gynecologist that I'll be going to Limpopo, but I had already found out the sex from him and also the due date. So I was very happy about that. All the results had come back that the baby is still happy and healthy. I went to Limpopo. Then when I was in Limpopo, I started seeing the local clinic, which is government run. And when you're there, they would normally measure your tummy every time you go there. They would use like a little cone to hear the baby's heartbeat. There wasn't really like a sauna machine or anything like that. So that's how it was within the government sector of that. But I was happy because that side, it was more relaxed, as there wasn't a lot of sick people going in and out. So yeah. So the day before I gave birth, I was pretty active, happy. I was doing a lot of cleaning, I was sweeping the house, I was mopping. I don't know, I was just arranging a lot of things, but I was going to the bathroom a lot because I would be pressed a lot. And then I remember my mom had cooked sugar beans and pap. So it was nice because it was made with the fire. So I really enjoyed food that was cooked with the fire during my whole pregnancy, like not my whole, but after 6 months. So yeah, I wasn't thinking that it was the day before of me actually giving birth because I was so active. So during midnight I was sleeping, but I felt like I was pressed, so I was going to the bathroom a lot. And then by the second time I would go, nothing was happening when I was in the bathroom. So then I came back. Then the third time I went to the bathroom again, nothing was happening. So then I came back. So my mom heard the door opening and closing, the bedroom door. So she came, she's like, what's going on? Why are you busy going up and down? I was like, no, I feel like I need the bathroom, but nothing's happening. So she's like to me, no, just relax and sleep. So I was just like, you know, I was a little bit annoyed. So then I slept, and then she pulled a chair and she sat next to the bed. So then I think I dozed off a little, but then I woke up with a sharp pain. And then she's like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm feeling pain. So she's like, how bad is it? I'm like, no, it's not really bad, but I can feel pain. So I sat, I think, for like 10 minutes or so, and then the pain got worse. So I was like, no, we need to go to the hospital. I think, yeah, maybe the baby's coming. So she's like, okay, but is the pain bad? I'm like, yes, it's bad. So we went, my cousin was the one that took me, my mom's cousin was the one that took me to the hospital. So she went with us. So when we're in the car, she's saying, breathe, remember to breathe. So at that time, I was actually forgetting to actually breathe because I was having so much pain. Then I would like gasp for air when she would remind me, breathe. So then when we got to the hospital, they told my mom she's not allowed to go in. She had to wait at the door due to COVID. So when I got in, they booked me in, they checked everything. They're like, no, yeah, I'm in labor. I had to undress and get into the hospital robe. So then they gave my mom my clothes, and they're like, okay, we will call you obviously when she has given birth. But then she had to go home, and I had to stay there and be there just with the doctors and the nurses. So I think it was around 1 p.m. the pain was really bad. So I was telling the nurses that the pain is really, really bad. And for some weird reason, every 30 minutes they would check our BPs and whatever, and it was so annoying because you had to go sit on the chair, they check everything. But then when I told the nurse my pains are really bad, she said, okay, we're gonna give you some injection for the pain. Then she gave me the injection. She's like, it should work within a few minutes. After a few minutes, I'm like, it's not working. Then I just kept quiet. Then after 30 minutes, I'm like, no, give me this injection, but it's not working. So she asked me, oh, did you used to drink before and everything? I was like, yeah, I used to have alcohol now and then. So she's like, oh no, this injection doesn't work on people who used to have alcohol. So I was a little bit annoyed. Then I went back to the bed because I was trying not to be too dramatic, because they told me I have to try and be stronger because it's a public hospital. And obviously they won't treat you the same as in a private hospital. it will be more stricter there, I guess, or they won't feel as much sorry for you. So then I went back to my bed, and then I started bleeding. And then when I started bleeding, I stood up, I told them I'm bleeding. So the nurse told me, that's because you're pushing and we told you do not push. And explaining to them, no, I'm not pushing, I'm in so much pain, and so I don't understand. Then they took me and to check again how far I had dilated, I guess. And then she was putting her hand in. It was rough. For me, it felt rough. It was like her whole hand was going in me. It was going left, right, up and down. It was just, and I would tell her she's hurting me. No, she's like, no, I'm not hurting you. This doesn't hurt. Why are you lying? I was like, okay, it's fine. So then after that, she's like, oh, but you're only just 4 centimeters. You still have a long way to go, and you're busy being dramatic about all of this. So I just tried to keep my cool, and then went back to my bed, and I was there. Then later on, when the pains really got bad, then they checked me again. They checked my BP again. They checked the heart rate for the baby, and then they checked me again to see if I had dilated far enough. So then the doctor came now, and she's like, no, she's 9 centimeters. Then the doctor broke my water, because I just felt like water coming out. And then when now I was there, she's like, okay, now you have to push. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how to push. So she says, the same way you go to the bathroom to relieve yourself. And number 2, that's how you're going to be pushing. It's basically the same thing you'll be doing. So I said, okay. And then yeah, when everything was starting, she was complaining about my mask, that I should wear my mask, but because it was falling off. So I was so annoyed about that. And then when I was now pushing, she was like hitting me on the top of my stomach, like saying, no, I have to push out. I have to push because I'm taking very long and I'm hurting the baby and all of that. Then next moment, I remember the baby was out now, and when the baby came out, they took him to the side, and then that's when he made some noises. Then I had some bleeding on the inside, and then they had to stitch me up on the inside and also on the outside. So then when they were stitching me up, I could hear them talking that, oh, the birth took 30 minutes, because I think they were doing their paperwork and all of that. But for me, I just remember the first 2 minutes and the last 2 minutes. So it was like 5 minutes for me. So I think I blacked out throughout the whole process of actually giving birth and the whole pushing. Maybe the pain was so much, I don't know. And then, what's this called? Then after they did that, they pressed my stomach out for the excess blood in my stomach. I had to lie on my stomach for a while. And then they put a catheter in me. I got a drip of blood, as well as drip, just a normal drip with medicine or that water, I don't know what it is. So then after that, they gave me lunch, because now it was lunchtime. I was in labor for 12 hours and I pushed for 30 minutes. So then during lunchtime, after I ate, then I was able to hold the baby and see the baby. Then they were telling me I have to breastfeed him. And yeah, I tried to breastfeed him, but it was just a weird experience. I was just looking at him because I was thinking, okay, this is my child. This is what he looks like. I'm going home with him. And yeah, that's how I gave birth. So after 2 days of being in the hospital, my son and I got discharged, and because of the COVID restrictions, we were only able to meet my mom at the exit gate, and then from there on we went back home. So that's my birth story. Hi, my name is Nzumbululo Mamphodo, and this is my miracle birth story.